Those of you who are also chronically online may have heard of a little app called TikTok. On this app, there's a feature called profile views. And with this feature, you can see who has viewed your profile within the last 30 days. With this feature, it may seem remarkable. I mean, it brings us satisfaction to see that we're being noticed by other people. While it might feel good to be noticed, we should also focus on our individuality. And let me tell you why. About a year ago, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across a TikTok astrology page that discussed the concept of alchemistic alignment, which is something I still cannot fathom to this day. And all I felt was confusion. I viewed their profile. I watched about 2 of their videos and knew right away that this was not for me. It was evident to me that this account was for a cult. Now, later that same day, I received a notification from the account in which they asked me if I would consider joining their group. And to this, I was very concerned. They must have been alerted when I'd viewed their profile. Because of this alarm, I did what I thought was a sensible thing. So I blocked the account and I never replied. I even asked myself, why would anyone want to join this anyways? Now, I know a cult when I see one. How, you may ask? Well, in the late 90s, when my mother was in college, her good friend joined a church. This seemed to be just like any other church, with the intention of educating the public on the Bible and spreading Christian principles. However, many people noticed the cultish red flags of the organization right away. Because of this, what happened was my mom knew that she had to get closer with her friends. However, because her friend had fallen so deep, she couldn't reunite with her. And one day, she seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth. Hearing this story from a very early age and having the experience of being lured into a social media-based cult, yet still somehow fishing myself back out, I continued to wonder why people would even want to join in the first place. And I've begun to understand why people feel the need to join from an early age. And let me tell you now, it's because people crave a sense of belonging. First and foremost, we must understand how people are lured into a cult setting in the first place. An identifiable trait of a cult is that it will typically have an authoritarian leader in power, one that weaponizes their power of charisma in order to encourage people to join. Their persuasion skills are usually so insanely robust to the point where they can even convince you that they are the Messiah. So, what do we do in this situation? How do we get ourselves back out? That's the difficulty. People who are stuck in this situation must stay in the cult. They are restricted to the shackles of this cult itself. Just take a look at the People's Temple, which existed from the years 1955 to 1978. The leader, Jim Jones, urged his people to do this as a form of revolution. By this, I mean the 1,000 murder that took place in Guyana in the 60s. It was a horrible event as confirmed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Because of this, so many people lost their lives due to these horrible cult mechanics. In this time, we must remember how horrible this tragedy was. Now, it is also important to note that although people were so stuck into this, people were able to get themselves out. Because of his promising beliefs of racial equality and social justice, people thought that they had found the perfect community. They were able to fish themselves out because they had realized that even though this seemed like a perfect community with a blend of Christian beliefs, it was not that. In fact, it was just psychological manipulation again and again and again. So, after this happens, we have seen so many cults rise up to power. We have seen them prosper because people continue to be lured into them. People who are lured into a cult will immediately fall into the social hierarchy of the cult. I have a name for this structure. Allow me to introduce you into my cake of cults theory. This theory has 3 tiers to its cake, with new recruits, devoted members, and trusted sub-leaders, and the cherry on top is the authoritarian leader themselves. The new recruits are coming into the cult with the idea that they have found the perfect and ideal community for them to join. They are being introduced to the mechanics and operation of the group itself, and they're willing to exhibit their loyalty and respect towards the leader in any way, shape, or form. Next, we have devoted members. These people have been in the cult for quite some time by now. They even have tried to lure other people into the cult because the authoritarian leader has forced them to. And then on the top, we have trusted sub-leaders. The trusted sub-leaders are under the authoritarian leader because no one can ever really achieve that rank. These people actually are trusted with more information, and they even run the operations of the cult itself. And at the tippity top, we have our cherry, the authoritarian leader. And as I mentioned, this rank is entirely unattainable as they will not allow anyone to supersede their status whatsoever. With the factors of time and loyalty, ideally someone could move up within the 3 tiers of the cake. Even if you convey this type of loyalty and respect to the leader themselves, they are not expected to treat you in such a manner. With such toxic interactions in this cult environment, we can imagine that the sense of community that is established is entirely a facade and a form of deception. Again, it's just psychological manipulation. People search a cult setting when they feel insecure and in times of instability. It provides them with a sense of security, it shields them and hugs them tight. They think that they are in the right place. Now, everything traces back to the species Homo sapiens. Yes, our very own human species itself. Our ancestors of the past survived in comparison to the other groups of humans because they formed social networks consisting of 50 to 150 people. And this is confirmed by British anthropologist Robin Dunbar from Oxford University. Because of this, we can see that we have an inherent social need to belong to something greater than just us. This also traces back to our psychological need. Maslow's hierarchy has an entire section labeled love and belonging. As you can see, it stresses the importance of friendship, intimacy, loving, and care in our lives. We feel a boost of confidence, a surge of happiness, and a rush of validation when we have found that ideal community. Even though sometimes people may feel this and they know they are in the wrong place, they feel, maybe I am in the right place. I mean, there's always a possibility that's just me, not the others. But this is why it's so important that we look at our external webs of support. Take a look for a moment. These webs provide us with security, and we know who we can trust with them. Look at the 2 innermost circles: family and friends, neighbors, community, and established support groups. These are the groups that you need to trust with your whole heart, unless, of course, a personal situation will not allow for that. Nevertheless, they foster the growth of relationships built on trust and mutual respect. For the outermost webs, it's important that we recognize red flags early on so that we know if we are in the ideal environment for us and if we are really safe, or maybe it's time to question if we just aren't safe at all, we're in an insecure environment. So with this, it's very important that we communicate this message to everyone. So many people still remain in cults to this day. It's a dangerous setting, and we must take action by doing this in order to stop this. Now, I know that each and every one of us in this room wants to belong, and I can prove it to you right now. I'd like to conduct a poll, and I need your help to do it. My first statement will be given to you, and please raise your hand. Please feel free to react if you resonate with the statement. The first statement is, I feel better internally when I receive validation from others. Thank you. The next one is, when I'm hanging around in a group of people I enjoy spending time with, I often feel a rush of excitement and joy. Thank you. And then the final statement is, I've always wanted to be part of something greater than just myself. Thank you for your participation. Through my deep dive into cult hierarchies, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this poll I just conducted, I hope you can understand that many of us in this room have felt like we wanted to belong in one way or another. We will always crave that sense of belonging because it's something that lies in each and every one of us. We must understand that people will use this against us, so once again, we need to trust these networks of support on the inside. Thank you so much, and I hope that from this you take away that you need to find the proper group for you that you just fit right into. Thank you.